Okay everyone, so today I wanted to make a quick tutorial on how to make ruffles for your potential dress when you're doing a character, for example, for Spice in Disguise. So the first step we want to do is we want to append a cylinder 3D. If you select your newly created cylinder, we switch to wireframe mode with this button up here or Shift F. Now that we see the topology, I want to delete all of these edge loops that go into the horizontal direction. The way I can do it is by going to the Z modeler, selecting the Z modeler, and then hovering over an edge. If I hover over an edge and right click, I get to choose what edge action I want to do. In this case, I want to delete, and not only the edge, but the edge loop complete. With these settings, I can now click on one edge and it will delete the entire edge loop. So here I can quickly get rid of all these edge loops. Now, also we want to get rid of the top and bottom face of the cylinder. This time we hover over a face, right click, and we can choose a polygon action. In this case, we want to delete the flat island. If we go with these settings and click on one face at the bottom, it will delete the entire cap. And the same will happen if you hover over the face and click on the top. Now we can switch to our gizmo with this button or W. We can scale and we can bring our cylinder into position to fit our character's dress. In this case, I want to widen the bottom part. So what I will do is I will hit Control and choose the mask rectangle, for example, and mask off the top part. Now with the gizmo, I can choose the scale option to inflate my dress at the bottom. And I can also use this, for example, to make it shorter or readjust until I'm happy with my proportions. Now, we still have the top part masked. What we want to do next is come over to the Dynamics tab. The Dynamics tab will allow us to run a simulation, and by masking off the top part, we set to the simulation that it should not affect this top part and only the bottom part. So we go here to the Dynamics tab. If any of these settings are different, feel free to change them. What I will do is I will set the gravity strength to 0.5 and I will hit Run Simulation. I will run the simulation only for a short period of time. So I will click Run Simulation once and then very soon a second time to stop the simulation again. So now you can see the result that we got from our simulation. This already looks like a low poly dress. We do have some clipping that we can fix now. So if you go to the move key, B, M, and V, you get the move brush. And now we can adjust these clipping issues. Nice. The next thing we want to do is we want to smooth out the dress. The thing is, if we get rid of our mask first, so Control and drag outside, so now we have everything unmasked. If we would use Control D to subdivide, we will get a very short skirt. This is not what we want. What we want to do instead is go to the Z modeler and hover over an edge again, right click, so we can choose an edge action, and we will choose Insert and a single edge loop. And by placing these edge loops, I hover over an edge here, click, and I can still drag this edge loop into position. So I click and drag and bring it close to the borders of my ruffle skirt. If I hit Control D for subdivide now, you see that the skirt doesn't change in size. So What we can do further to get them some thickness is we can go to geometry and then dynamic and then add some thickness. And here we have it, address, and we can still make adjustments by using the move key and then, sorry, I have backface mouse, and we can still make adjustments by moving our address. And if we go to the non-wireframe mode, we get a nice preview, and here we can adjust our ruffles to our liking. Two small tips for the end. If you want to have ruffles with a second layer, all you need to do is come to the gizmo, make sure everything is unmasked, and then you hit Control and drag with the green, like with the arrow that's on top. You can drag it. If this happens, you need to delete one subdivision level. In this case, I will keep the lower subdivision level, delete higher, and then I can control and drag this down. And here we have our second layer that I can adjust so that it's not as symmetrical to the top one, like as similar to the top one. So I could do this to get a nice second layer. The second cool thing that I want to show you, if you don't really like the soft look of this skirt, we can make changes in the low poly stages. So I will go back all the way here. One more time before we set the supporting edge loops. Right now, I will go to the Z modeler again, and this time hover over an edge, right click, insert single edge loop, and here wherever there's an indent, I will click one more time to get one more edge loop and make it here, here, here. Oops, sorry. So, and then I will choose the Z modeler again, hover over the edge, right click and say mask, mask edge in this case, it's fine, and click on the edges that I just inserted. In this case, let's pick this one, sorry, and this one. Now I will invert my masking by control and clicking outside. Now I can only move the top, like the edges. In this case, I will mask off the top part. And now I only have like the bottom vertices. Now I switch to my gizmo. I will hit Alt so that this unlocks and choose the location icon. This will bring it to the center of unmasked polygons. And I will use this one to scale inwards. Now, what did it do? It created this, let's say, flower shape, and it won't be as soft as before. So we need to repeat the steps as we did them before. So we use the Z modeler, we insert, so right click on an edge, let's pick insert, a single edge loop, and now we need to insert the supporting edge loops. And if we now hit Ctrl D, or we can also visualize it with dynamic subdivision levels, we see that we have a bit of a sharper look to our dress. And you can make many more modifications in the low poly state as you wish and as your ruffles look like. And then you have an easier time and a smooth result if you subdivide later. So I hope this was helpful. I wish you lots of fun creating your ruffles for your dresses. Bye bye.